Good evening, people. Welcome back to another video. Very quick late night Sunday live because there's a bit of news going around that I had to touch on. It surprised me. Well, not surprised me, but it surprised me it's come out right now this time of the evening. It looks like Aymeric Laporte, unfortunately, is gone. It's terrible news. The treble winners are losing an experienced, brilliant centre-back, and he's going to play over in Saudi Arabia, joining Cristiano Ronaldo at Al-Nassr. Unfortunately, I don't know the money yet. Don't know how much it's going to be, but I will check in a minute and see what I can find in relation to that. But it looks like we've lost an incredible player from Manchester City Football Club, and I am definitely sad to see him move on. It's the end of an era. I know, of course, we've seen his replacement in action already, but we can't pretend that this isn't a massive loss and a sad day for a man who's been there for an immense amount of success. Now, guys, if you don't mind helping support the channel, please do hit the subscribe button. Every single little like as well on the channel does help, so please do that. Like if you want to, subscribe if you're new to the channel. I've been doing absolute tons of content recently. 5 things learned, match reactions, watch along, fan views. I've got some fun stuff as well coming in tomorrow and Tuesday and Wednesday for the rest of it. I'll be here every day for the rest of your lives. Probably not, but you know, unless you live until tomorrow, which I'm sorry to hear. I'm sorry about that. Hope you enjoy the content. Anyway, Aymeric Laporte, unfortunately, is looking to move on. And if I sound a little bit like sort of blasé about it, I think it's because I've been expecting it for an awful long time, if we're being honest. I'll jump over to the breaking news. It has come via Jack Gorn as well. Jack Gorn, obviously a really reliable reporter, said the fee is $23.5 million. He's going to complete his move tomorrow to Al-Nassr. For $23 million, that's insanely cheap. It's an absolute bargain for a player of his quality. £23 million. Stupid, absolutely stupid. But you know, this is where we're at these days with that move over there. City will be happy for him to move on and just probably not be a rival. I mean, that's where City will probably feel about it. It's not just Jack Gorn as well. Fabrizio, your man, has dropped the here we go as well. Of course, the thumbs up these days. He said, Aymeric Laporte to Al-Nassr. Here we go. Agreement reached. Also on player side, salary in excess of €20 million. Medical booked. Laporte will sign until June 2026. Man City to receive package closer to £30 million. So there you go. Unfortunately, our man is gone. He's going to get the bag over there, though. So does anyone really blame him? It's one of those things where it's so much money that you sort of don't blame him at the same time. Like, it's just the time has come. You know, he's moved on at Manchester City. We sort of respect it. It's one of those things where you've got to just understand that, you know, he's not really the number one anymore. And I understand why he'd want to move on and get a chance elsewhere, because he's been pushed out of the team by a whole bunch of players. And in this instance, you're seeing his Manchester City career sort of unfold, and you're like, well, fair enough in that instance, you know. Go somewhere else, be the number one, and fingers crossed things go well for you. Like, he's too good a player to be sat on the bench, and obviously the Saudi League is getting bigger and bigger, but it isn't an elite level league yet, so he's definitely moving for that money. But do you blame him at this stage of his career? Do you? And to be fair to him, he's going to play with a whole bunch of great players over there, you know. So the league is changing. The lifestyle's incredible. You probably get 400 to 500k a week over there, you know. So does anyone blame him? I just don't blame him whatsoever, man. I don't blame him whatsoever. It's absolutely fair in my personal opinion. I get it at this point. Yeah, I'm happy he's not a rival team. But we have lost a man. I'm over at Stat City here, my mate. He runs Stat City Adam. I hope you don't mind me using your page, mate. He signed near the end of the transfer window in January 2018 for a fee of £57 million. Given the number 14 jersey, he made his debut, of course, the next day against West Brom, and he was excellent. He played 108 appearances, starting 168, sub as 12 times, 12 goals. He won 139 of his 180 games he's involved in, which is ridiculous. Sent off once, 7 seasons involved. That's not right. 7 seasons. 7 seasons. I don't know what that means there. But either way, is that right? Oh, yes, it's 7th season at Man City. I stand corrected. Look, there we go. I apologise, Adam. The 70-day... Look, he's been here for a long time, man. Like, this is his 7th season, 6 years, 7th season. I mean, he's had a substitute appearance, of course, as well. But you can see last season where his stats dropped off massively there. You know, only 24 games involved, going from 44 to 27 to... This is in the league, of course, as well. In all competitions, like, He did have a bit of like drop off here and there. You can see why he got kind of moaned here and there as well. But he also had a couple of injuries as well. He played 121 times in the Premier League for us as well. 33 Champions League appearances. Look, an awful lot of football, over an awful long time. And a hell of a trophy cabinet as well. Premier League, Community Shield, Premier League, an FA Cup, a League Cup, Premier League, another Carabao Cup, Premier League. Of course, FA Cup and a Champions League. I don't know if he got a Super Cup medal. I don't think if he did or not. But he's an excellent player, man. An excellent player. And we're going to lose... we're going to lose an excellent senior member of the squad. I think the writing was on the wall where, unfortunately, if we're being honest, let's get a critical eye on it. He was apparently a little bit moany about not being in the team at one point. He didn't come straight back into the team, and Pep doesn't like that, unfortunately. And it looked like his game time dropped off. He was one of those players that Guardiola probably labelled the happy flowers, who he was all happy when things are going well, but wasn't getting stuck in. And I think he was a bit of a sulker every now and then, the way Cancelo was, but less intense than that. Never soured his relationship that much, if I'm being honest. But the problem is, I think he probably fixed his relationship with Guardiola. But the problem is, Ake got in the team ahead of him. And Ake became irreplaceable. Ake was absolutely excellent. And Guardiola went down for this physical, dominant, reliable route. And then when it became obvious that Laporte wasn't happy anymore, we saw him crying on the last day of the season when he knew he was moving on. And look, it's a shame because Laporte is such a phenomenal player. It's a shame to see him go. But when it became obvious... it looked obvious when City started, to pursue, Josko Vardial. And Vardial is essentially, he's the long-term Laporte replacement. How old was Laporte, by the way? I don't know his age right now. 29 years old. He turns 30 at the end of this season. So he's not that old. But obviously we signed a 21-year-old who will basically take over for an awful long time here. And you sort of have to respect that, City are planning for the future. And they saw an opportunity to sign, in my opinion, the best young centre-back in world football. So they went for it. And can you blame them? Can you blame him in this instinct? Nah, I mean, Josko is absolutely ridiculous. And when you've got a player of his quality coming in, Laporte understood that right now we'd have to move on. And that's how it is. That's how it is. I was laughing at someone losing their minds in the chat saying, sack him, Guardiola. Look, chill out, mate. Chill out. I love Laporte. I do think there was something to be said potentially. I'm not trying to badmouth a player that I thought was great, but we did he did have a mistake in him in the odd Champions League big games, and he did occasionally make a bit of a mess up. So I think there was something to be said for his consistency every now and then. And I understand why City probably wanted to move on a little bit, and just freshen things up. Sometimes you need to do that. And look, if I'm being honest right now, when you get like 24 million, look, he's only got, how long has he got left in his contract? When did he sign a contract? Laporte contract. When did his contract set to end at Man City? I'm trying to find out. 2025, I think. So 2 years left. 2 years left. So look, at his age, after 6 seasons, City are basically, according to what I can see, his current contract set to end in 2025 at Man City. But either way, a couple of years left potentially. City probably thought, you know what? Even if it's 2026, let him move on for a decent fee, £25 million. Look at the net spending. So we got we ended up signing for 57 million, and then we got they got 25 million back. So a total value of £30 million for Aymeric Laporte over the years. Incredible, man. Or you could look at it another way. You could take that 25 million off Vardial. So Vardial was 50 million quid. There's many ways to look at it, but overall, it wasn't a bad deal at all, really, was it? We've got a decent deal out of it. And City, rightfully, have been very supportive about his efforts to move on. And look, they get it. If someone wants to move on, so be it. I am sad to see him go. And maybe he is better than Akanji potentially, but it's all about attitude and all about squad cohesion. And let's be honest, the squad right now, what we did without Laporte at the end of the season, we won a treble. You can't argue with the results. Look, I always sort of feel, I don't mind who plays for Manchester City as long as we win. I know that sounds really basic, but I don't really care who's in the team as long as those in the team are playing well, being respectful and winning us trophies. And ultimately, we won a treble without Laporte. We moved on to an extent, not without Laporte, but he was sort of... he was sort of on the bench towards the end and didn't really get much of running. And even though Laporte is definitely more talented technical footballer than Ake, is he a better one-on-one defender? No, he's not. I'm sorry. Ake is a better natural defender. Is he a better leader? Probably not. So basically, Ake, more of a teacher's pet, but more of a solid defender. So I think Guardiola preferred that in the end. You know, someone who fits the squad a bit better, more of a leader, and who's a better defender, where Laporte, definitely a more technical footballer and a great defender too, but did he have the mentality to win the struggle? I don't know. I understand why he moved on, and Vardial is going to be, you know, an elite level player, so I get it. I get it. I'm sad to see him go. I absolutely am, you know. But this is football. This is football, you know. Sometimes you have to accept that things move on and players move on. He was our best defender a few years ago, but right now, things have changed, unfortunately. I'll, of course, do a confirmation when it's happened, and we'll chat about it more. But I thought I'd just do a quick live. I'm going to go help get the little one into bed. A couple of little bit of news, of course, during the last few years. Last hour. Apparently, the Athletic saying Doku should arrive. He's on the bench tonight, apparently. Jeremy Doku. I think Linny mentioned that in the chat. Thank you so much. You know, on the bench tonight, so maybe it's going to happen. Mike Jr. said he talked about how we were the mentality monsters. I'm not sure Laporte always fitted that. I agree. Look, I loved Laporte, but my biggest beef with Laporte was that he was. I remember one particular game. Do you remember the Southampton game last season where things were terrible? We went out 2-0. Do you remember things stick in your mind? Sergio Gomez was playing left back, and he made a couple of mistakes early on, and Laporte absolutely destroyed him. Like, he was ranting and raving at him and really bollocking him, and you could turn around and say he deserved that, and he probably did for the mistakes. But at the same time, this was a young lad, and I remember Sergio Gomez's head just dropping, and he looked like half the player after that. He looked like his confidence was shot. To me, I look at Nathan Ake and John Stones and Ruben Diaz and Akanji. Look how they talk to each other on the pitch. Like, Diaz is like, come on. He gets everyone going. Pat on the back, you know. Look what he does with Zinchenko that time. Look what he does with John Stones. Like, to me, I like players who lift those up around them. And I'm not sure Laporte always did that. And you've got to give him credit, though, on the other side, you know. And remember, as Daly said in the chat there, remember when he played through the pain towards the end of the previous season, the season before last, and he got us through and we won the league. He was absolutely excellent. But he lost his head every now and then. So, like, his mentality's great for himself, but is he as much as a team player as some of the ones in the team right now? Probably not. It's just a natural progression and cycle of football, so I have to respect it. It is what it is. It's a shame, but it is what it is, you know. It's a shame. It's an absolute shame. Guys, anyway, this is where we're at right now. For a quick video, I'm going to go and help the wife get Ruben to bed. Please do consider going check it out. Obviously, the content I've made over the past 24 to 48 hours, I've done loads of content. A real breaking down of the 5 things that I learned, which was a good video. Go and give that a watch if you want to. That's up right now. I only put it out live an hour or 2 ago. Talked about Kovacic, Vardy, Akanji. It sounds like a song there I was about to break out. Alvarez and the bench options. Of course, the fan view live from last night was good fun. And of course, there's my match reaction. You got the fan view live last night chatting to players. My match reaction, I was buzzing after last night. Of course, the watch along, and there's Olmo news, the opposition preview. Look, loads of stuff going on. Go and give it a watch if you want to. It does help support the channel. For now, though, thank you very much for watching. Laporte, I love him. He's brilliant. Give this video a like, subscribe. But unfortunately, he has to move on at some point. Good night. Love you all loads. Bye-bye.